This is a Nekko Media podcast.
What's your pleasure, sir?
Welcome to the show, Cinephiles and Cenobites, to a new episode. It's been a while since Mox and Ono released one of these. This is the Thanos story, and I'm your host, Annika P., the bringer of chains. Mox and Ono reviewed the magnificent Avengers Infinity War. On recommendations, Ono highlights The Titan and Mox on Kodachrome, both of which are on Netflix. For Secular Insanity, Ono reviews the indie flick The Concessionaires Must Die. On The Shortest Straw, Mox reviews the short film From the Sky. And on the wild card segment Schrody's Ladder, Mox and Ono report in for an update on their resolutions they set at the beginning of the year. If you want to know what their plans were, listen to episode 6. And for the Seno 6, Mox and Ono list off their top Ensemble films. Well, let's get this episode started. Avengers Infinity War. Let's hear what Mox and Ono have to say about it. Slashtag configuration.
Alright, welcome to the Slashtag configuration. Today we're going to be reviewing the
MCU's newest installment.
The Empire Strikes Back of Marvel.
Fuck yeah.
Avengers Infinity War. And we will not spoil this movie.
Well, we hinted at a spoil.
Yeah, we'll hint, but
we
won't be
talk around.
jerks. Yeah,
We'll talk around.
we'll try not to spoil anything, just in case if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's pretty important that way. And to show respect to the directors, Anthony
and Joe Russo.
Joe Russo,
the brothers who brought us Community and
Arrested Development. That's how I know them from. Arrested Development. I haven't seen an episode of Community.
Used to be good.
Yeah, it used to be good. Oh, okay.
Then it came lame.
But and with those names labeled to the movie, you kind of see their kind of stylistic approach to it. Some cinematic verite, and when I say that, just camera movement within the context of a scene, and just their style of. I think with them, it's perfect for this kind of movie just because of its.
The ensemble.
The large ensemble.
They're good at that, yeah.
And they're very good at giving enough time to each character.
To each subplot and character. Yeah, there are a lot of characters and arcs and storylines and subplots to manage.
And it's enough for you to stay engaged within those. It's not like, oh, this guy you could have dealt without this particular
every
character.
Little mini character and arc has its own, thoroughfare and its own story points and plot points that are met with crisis and conflict that needs to be overcome, and they all feed into the larger overarching problem of Thanos. Even Thanos is awesome.
Okay, so the cast, we got the Avengers in here. We have the Guardians. Shout out to Chris Pratt and Bautista. Bautista? Yep. Yes.
And Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't work without Zoe Saldana.
And we also have Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr. We got Spider-Man in there.
Doctor Strange.
And shout out to Benedict Wong.
Oh, yeah, he made it in there. We gotta get you out.
Very minor, but I love the dude.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're in this film. And, of course, Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It is
enough praise. I mean, there's not too much praise. Wow, I can't find words.
Yeah.
There is not enough praise that can be given to the character and his performance.
Sure. It's the Thanos movie, as you were saying.
Yeah. Pretty
much. So yeah, let's get into it. And we got Black Panther in there. And
obviously, did we leave out that? We're gonna get smacked.
Kept saluting.
Yeah. Every time I look over at him, he's doing the fucking salute. Wakanda Forever salute.
Yeah. Okay. And have
you seen Black Panther?
No, I haven't yet. No.
But you're just that into Wakanda Forever?
I thought I should. Salute. I don't know any other. There's no Star-Lord.
I would have done that instead. Distinctly their thing. Yeah.
So, everyone's in here. Yeah, everyone's gathered.
Chadwick Boseman is just fucking super cool.
Who did he play?
Black Panther.
Oh,
and I like how he talks kind of like this.
Right. We got the captain and his buddy Buckeye.
Oh yeah, his real love of his life. Basically, that is the only thing that exists 100 years later. His friendship with Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. I feel like there wasn't too much attention given to that and those characters. Captain America is not really at the forefront of this story. Neither is his so-called team from the Civil War.
I feel like
schism.
Because of that, I mean, there are 3 Avengers movies, right? Or 3 Captain America movies and 2 Avenger movies.
Yeah.
You know, so we got enough of that plot. Like, we know that.
Yes.
So I think the newcomers, like Doctor Strange, is like, this is his first time meeting everyone
in the
else.
group. Yeah.
And
I felt he was a little bit odd man out. I also felt some of the acting performances in the earlier part of the movie, in the earlier part of the first act, were a little bit phoned in.
Oh yeah, you think so?
I thought so. It really didn't affect the whole movie at all.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I came out of the movie just like, wow.
I thought there were initially just 5 stones, but they're actually 6.
I thought 5 too.
Yeah.
Like,
so they
usually
name up
the
all
odd
the stones.
numbers, you know.
So we got mind, time, reality, soul.
I think space is one.
Space and what was the 6th one?
Is memory a thing? No.
I forget.
Why don't we just call it colors?
Yeah.
Like blue, red, fucking purple, green, yellow, orange. That's the 6.
Okay, sure.
Well,
Man, but like, I mean, yeah.
Think of it like Voltron +1, right?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh man. Yeah. So, those stuff. Yeah. So the whole point of the movie is Thanos is now making a larger appearance in the movie.
Finally.
And
after the 10 fucking years.
He's gathering his mission is to gather all the stones, and we want to stop him. So I guess from the previous movies, we kind of have an idea of where they're all at.
Right, but we don't know his why, and his why is super important. It's an altruism affected through violence and destruction and carnage, unfortunately. But it's a mercy act. It's an act of salvation.
In his perspective.
Actually, in my perspective, too.
But it's like, who is he?
That's the only thing about it. That's the only thing. Who is any one person to be like, I'm the one who got to do this?
Right.
But think of it this way. The only thing for evil to win is for a good man to do nothing. So he's taking up the mantle because no one else is. To him, it's a baby burning in a fire. It's someone out there needing help from a situation. The universe is killing itself through overpopulation and war.
I know, and you think about this is the whole entire
universe, right?
But he makes it a point. I mean, and it's true that everything in the universe is finite,
right? You know, resources,
so
land.
It's everything's there, because you can't. Energy can neither be created or destroyed, right? So
it can just change forms.
Yeah. So it's like okay, and he does it. You think the vastness of space, where the Guardians at, where Earth is, where Thor's home planet is. I mean, he's doing a lot of traveling.
He does. Luckily, he got that. What is that? The blue stone, where he can just zip here and there.
Right.
That must be the space stone.
Is it? Okay.
Because that's the one doing that portal shit, right? He's just like portal hopping as fuck.
Yeah. Right. And it's within like, a small amount of when you say, I want to say like Earth time. Time is relative in space, right?
Well, we'll just call it cinematic time, okay. Yeah, because it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
And he's there.
So okay, and the movie opens up
at the ass end of a battle, right?
Yeah.
A ship has put out a distress call.
Was that
That's an Asgardian ship.
Was that at the end of any of the previous?
That
movies?
was not.
Oh, okay, so this is new stuff. Right?
I think there was footage that was cut. I think there was like some 10-minute epic battle scene of all the Asgardians getting fucking murked.
I didn't see the latest Thor. Did it end on anything that started here?
No.
Okay. Because then I'm guessing Claire Blanchet.
Oh, Kid Blanchet. Yeah.
Is
that how you say it? Are we just Frenching it up to be fancy? I don't know.
Is that Thor's sister?
That is the half sister.
Oh wow. Okay. A lot of family drama is brought up to kind of justify one's actions and presentation. Like I'm deeply wounded, like as Thor would say. Like and his meetup with the Guardians is priceless.
It was.
I mean, if it's not the Thanos show, it's the Guardian show.
It is definitely, as far as on the so-called good guys or the protagonist side, the Avengers, it is the Guardian show, and then furthermore, it's the Star-Lord show as usual.
Yeah.
With his best friend Drax. Like, honestly, the Guardians don't work without Drax.
They can't.
And this movie doesn't work without Gamora. She is such a huge piece of this film. They take you in to the fact that she really is the heart of Thanos.
Oh. That's not a little too much. Well, we know she is daughter of Thanos.
Right. But, in the comics, I'm not a comic nerd, so I don't really know how he's portrayed there, but I know they describe him as the Mad Titan. In the MCU, he is portrayed as the Sad Titan, I feel. He's brooding.
Kind of, you're at a kind of a crossroads. Do we really want to, do we feel for Thanos? We can say we feel for him, but his plan is like, okay, no, we can't have you destroy everything in the universe.
Well, half of everything.
That's what he's saying.
At random.
Half. 50% of me is 100% of you. Your math is blowing my mind. Oh man, but yeah. And I tend to forget, like, when someone wields a stone, it's like you can't just be a human. So you got to be like part god.
Like, whatever race Thanos is from Titaner, like the Titaneers. I don't know if he's special even amongst the Titan people, but you can't just straight.
But he has that
grab
gauntlet.
A stone.
That's the gauntlet, right? The Infinity Gauntlet.
Right, but he's totally just rocking bare hands, grabbing stone by stone, and
right.
like placing it in the gauntlet. Like, he's got no problem. I mean, Peter Quill could almost do it, and he's half god.
Yeah.
But he still needed to channel it through the rest of the Guardians. So I mean, Thanos is just straight crazy, like.
Yeah. So with this movie, there's so much action going on, and the Russo brothers do a really amazing job with portraying all these different subplots and
there's
then tying
a lot going on. Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and it's just not on Earth. Wait, is Wakanda on Earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like hidden Earth.
It's like Atlantis.
It's the real El Dorado. Well, it's the land Atlantis, El Dorado.
Oh, okay. So yeah, a lot going on, action packed. The chemistry, even though it's like the first time meeting, it's spot on.
Yeah.
So like, Doctor Strange.
A lot of good quips back and forth. A lot of good
Guardians
conflicts.
meeting the Avengers for the first time, and yeah.
Drax being Drax.
Yes, it's amazing. I definitely give it a go watch, CC.
Yes, go. Wait, before we end it though, I wanted to talk a little bit about sacrifice. Personal sacrifice is kind of at the crux of it too. Like, a lot of characters are asked to make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. Right. On both sides of the coin, But I
feel like a lot of the previous movies, they've done that already, right? Leading up to this point.
Probably. I can't remember fully, but in this one, at least 4 characters were asked to make that greater sacrifice. Like, it's a reoccurring theme in this one.
Right. It's kind of like, do it for the greater good, or are you guys going to be selfish and just like... I'm thinking of me only.
Actually, on both sides of the coin, they're acting on behalf of what they perceive to be the greater good.
Yeah. So it's subjective.
It actually really is.
Yeah.
I feel like we're watching it through the Avengers' eyes, so it's kind of slanted towards their point of view, being what the filmmakers want us to take away, that, even if humanity and the universe destroys itself, that is more organic, or that is more natural than someone killing off half to save the whole.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like Thanos. Team Thanos. But,
lots of action, great story, great dialogue, great chemistry.
Great
between
chemistry.
All the characters, yes.
Super funny.
Yeah. And if you're going to watch it, just there's a lot of kids in the theaters. Yeah. So it's everyone's having fun.
Yeah.
I ate my nachos without a care in the world. So I was like...
Or usually like trying to keep it
during
down.
A quiet place. I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nah. But like, feel free to cheer on.
There's noise going on. There's kids. There's people running up
Everyone's
and down.
Having a good time. Yeah. So it's like,
it's like it's a community event. Not loud as a sports game, but I mean, there's shit going on, you know,
Yeah.
so don't get like wigged out.
Yeah, for sure. So you
Have a
heard it
good
here.
time.
Avengers: Infinity Wars.
Go watch CC.
Hey, how's it going? I'm in Ofray of the Taking the Lead Media Podcast, broadcasting from the island of Oahu. Here on the podcast, I release weekly playlists of mostly punk rock and hardcore tunes, occasional ska and indie rock, all independent music local here in Hawaii, around the country, and the rest of the world. Just recently, I've also had guests on the show, including local friends and rock bands, to record label heads and distributors. This is an Apple podcast, so do please check out the show on iTunes. It's also streaming on YouTube, search Taking the Lead Media, and on Tumblr at oneshotsideshow.tumblr.com. Hit me up on Twitter at TTLM Podcast and say hi sometime. You can also stream current and past episodes on this podcast website, takingtheleadmedia.com.
On this next segment, Mox and Ono recommend programming exclusive to popular streaming services, here on Kicking and Streaming.
All right, welcome to this Kicking and Streaming. For my recommendation, I have the 2018 Netflix original, The Titan, starring Sam Worthington, Taylor Schilling, Tom Wilkinson, and Agnes Dane. The film was directed by Leonard Ruff, and it was written by Max Hurwitz and Arash Amel. So The Titan is basically, so it's set in around 2048, and the Earth is...
Think about the moon, Titan?
Yes, so we'll get that to in a bit. And the world's population has grown exponentially, and so we want to try to find a problem or a solution to the hunger problem here. So I mean, with that many mouths to feed, there's not going to be enough food, and a lot of places are becoming uninhabitable. So now the mission is, so Titan is the largest moon of Saturn, and I think the second largest moon in the solar system. So but its environment cannot be inhabited by humans. So what we have to do is sort of
change our biology.
Yes, to accommodate that environment.
So are they trying to force evolution? Is that what that thing is?
Yeah, that they actually say that in the movie. So basically, we're going to change the human anatomy to accommodate all of that stuff because it's rich in nitrogen. And so we got to be able to breathe that. So they selected a group of soldiers, and one thing that they all have in common is they were able to survive in harsh environments where they should have been dead.
Really?
So like Sam Worthington was in the Syrian desert for like just 3 days without food or water. But that must have been extreme. Badass. 3 days. Like, okay. So he was selected. And other people had similar cases where they had to do that. And so now they're injecting them with these chemicals to change how they feel, how they breathe. And I think they're even changing their eyes. So like feline eyes. So that they can see in the dark. Because I guess it's very dark on Titan. So they're selected. They're aware of what's going to happen and why their end mission, because some of them might not make it during the training process. And their families are aware of what they have to do. So they're not ignorant, like...
Secret government.
Yeah, what are you really doing? We know the mission. We got to change you so you can live on Titan. Send us data. And it's not like, they can just fly there and come back. I mean, that's we're talking years to travel to Titan.
What year is this set in?
2048.
Really, 2048?
Yeah, so it's not that.
Transport people to Saturn's moon.
I think, well, like we have the technology, but it's not like we know like how long it's gonna take. So they're planning, or you have to plan ahead already, right? So, but first we got to get these people changed, right? So we're talking like mutation, and like what you said, and they say it in the film, forced evolution, and so,
Sounds iffy.
yeah, but
2048 is in like fucking 30 years.
yeah, it's not that long.
Right.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
we could still potentially be alive.
See, I mean, and you know, at that point, I mean, if overpopulation is a problem, you think they'd start to regulate it. But I mean,
Lottery. Yeah.
who am I to say, or the government to say you can't have kids? I mean, it's not China, right?
Yes.
Where you're only limited one kid, right? And so, I mean, this film is, you think it'd be all dark, but it's more of a sci-fi Hallmark flick. And that's the overall tone of the Titan, you know. But I recommend this film because it portrays an almost current side of society. Humanity is at a dark point in which hard decisions must be made. It's progressive and controversial, and sometimes that's the best way to go, if not the only way to go, right? Sacrifices are made to all those involved in this program, in the movie, but it takes a turn at which people start to think, I think, when they start to think of only themselves instead of the bigger picture. And that's when it gets all hallmarky. But it's a good chunk of film before we reach that point. The Titan is a nice kind of one shot of a film. The performances are moderate. The story peaking to a high point before dropping for a cliche happy ending. Both worth to check out before Sam Worthington is all about Avatar.
For the next decade.
Yes.
So I have the Netflix original Kodachrome, directed by Mark Rasso, written by Jonathan Tropper. It stars Jason Sudeikis, Elizabeth Olsen, Dennis Haysbert, and Ed Harris. Shot entirely on 35mm film stock, Kodachrome is the story of a dying artist and the dying medium he dedicated his life to, making one last trip to the last place on Earth that still develops photograph film with his estranged son to develop these unprocessed rolls that he took years ago at the beginning of his career to be showcased at a final farewell show. It opens with Sudeikis, the estranged son, struggling to keep his job at an indie record label after losing his biggest client. He is contacted by awesome Elizabeth Olsen, his father's nurse, and told that his father is dying and wants him to drive him to Kansas to have those rolls of film developed before the world stops developing film. He, of course, hates that idea because he hates his dad, who spent most of his life in childhood taking great photographs around the world when he should have been home being a dad and a husband. So he agrees to a dinner for shits and giggles, probably as an internal test to prove that he's not the same little boy affected by the mammoth shadow casted by his prolific father. And he remains adamant in his refusal until Dennis Haysbert, the father's agent, offers him a deal he can't pass up. Haysbert's old assistant is now the manager of a hot rock band and can get Sudeikis a meeting with them to try to sign them for his company if he will take his father on the road trip to Kansas. So off into the special world, or Act 2 if you prefer, we go. The performances are first rate. Ed Harris, Dennis Haysbert, and Elizabeth Olsen, they're all great dramatic actors who have time and again showed their chops and range. But the standout here is Jason Sudeikis, whose dramatic work I'm less familiar with, but who anchors the story's tone somewhere between sober and somber with touches of melancholy and nostalgia, and a subtle hint of hope. This film is a rarity in that it is exactly what you think it is, what the trailer says it is, with some plot and story points that are exactly what you expect, but yet it still delivers. And I know, a story about an estranged father and son, a damaged pretty girl, white privilege, photography, rock music, and a sex scene soundtrack to Lightning Crashes, the saddest song you sort of danced to in the 90s. Sounds like middle-of-the-road indie white bread, but what the story is really about is human beings dealing with dual mortalities, the ephemeral physical life, our flesh and blood interaction with the outside world, and the inevitable decay that awaits us, and then our legacy, the ethereal life, our soul's interaction with and intertwining of energies attempting to leave a lasting impression or exposure, captured in space and time by light and shadows in an ever-expounding collection of slides in a cosmic carousel. So it's not the acuity of the lens or the artistry of the eye that finds meaning in images. It's the choice of the imagery itself that's ultimately meaningful. Why you look at something is more important than how you look at it. Also, if you've never seen a 21 camera salute to a fallen photographic icon, you will be surprised at the impact. Kodachrome is available on Netflix and is a definite you'll watch CC.
Don't go down that road. The horror movie podcast.
Welcome to Don't Go Down That Road Horror Movie Podcast with John and Rachel. I'm John.
And I'm Rachel.
And we are glad to be a Phantom Podcast Network member that you can find on downrightcreepy.com.
Downright.
Downright. Rachel, what do we do?
Well, we're a podcast that takes two horror films with similar themes, and we put them in a figurative fight at the end, so it doesn't matter if the movie was good or bad. It's just kind of based off character development / what we've just watched and made fun of.
That's right. We review. Yay!
Yay.
But we also get special guests to help us out sometimes, and sometimes we do special interviews with people in the business.
Yes.
We also do some reviews sometimes. It depends if we watched a movie we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But we do lots of things. And we love our listeners to always be involved, so we're always open to suggestions and opinions, I guess. S2EP09, or you can check us out on iTunes and Stitcher or even Google Play. But most importantly, check them out on Phantom Podcast Network on downrightcreepy.com. Rachel, where else can they find us?
Well, y'all can take a gander at our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at DGTR Podcast.
That's correct. So, thanks, and we hope you guys enjoy our show eventually.
And remember,
Don't go down that road.
The horror movie podcast. Don't go down that road.
This next segment features a full-length movie review here on Secular Insanity.
Alright, so for this Secular Insanity, I have the full-length directorial debut of America Young, The Concessionaires Must Die. The film is written by John M. Keating and Sam McCoy and stars David Blue, Talia Tobin Keating, and Zachareth Rubin. The Concessionaires Must Die is an indie comedy full of geek culture, comics, film references, and cameos, and if you can spot them, it's hard to miss though. But its main focus is on a group of employees who work at an old local movie theater that specializes in showing older flicks. At one point in the film, they were showing Jaws, so that should give you an idea, which is a really cool idea. I'd love to go to the theater and watch older movies. Quick side note, top 5 movies I would want to see in theaters right now, at the top of my head, Road Warrior, Alien 3, Men at Work, Major League, and Legend, because why not? So this old movie theater is about to go, I'd say, out of business. It's not doing too well. The owner, played by Ruben, has to decide whether she wants to sell it to the big corporation that's moving in down the street or keep the place open and eventually close due to lost sales from the bigger theater down the street. That's the main plot line. Now, the rest of the movie, we actually get to know each and every one of the employees who work at this theater. A very fun bunch to be working with, if you call it work at all. Lots of downtime, but hey, if it's what you love, you never work a day in your life, right? It kind of gets Clerks-esque, Kevin Smith Clerks, with a small montage of, they show bad customers, but there's also another sequence where they present odd, unusual items found in the theater after cleaning it up. It's a whole montage of just weird things you'd find. I figured you'd find a wallet or maybe a phone, but no, some of the things that they bring up is hilarious. I'm not sure if it's overly exaggerated or not. I've never worked at a theater, but you'll have to see this film to find out. I'll mention one item though, black dildo. Damn. And the pop culture references, a ton of them. Not only do they reference lines, they'll pay tribute and act them out and do parodies of the scenes themselves. And they work the lines into the story itself, so it's not just a random reference. And the references span decades of film trivia, so it might not work for the average film goer if you're not familiar with a whole lot of film, but it's a nice treat for the film buff in the crowd. The Concessionaires Must Die is a fresh comedy and awesome feature-length debut for Young, who has done a ton of short films. Shout out to Protectress, a nice fantasy action short. But the story, The Concessionaires Must Die, is a likable one. One we can relate to these characters working at a place with a unique set of co-workers and, customer service. It's hella fun. The Concessionaires Must Die is available to purchase or rent online at most popular streaming services. Go watch CC.
All right. Welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast.
Dave,
Dave,
hold the phone there, man. This isn't a show. It's a promo.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Wait, a porno? With just the three of us?
Oh.
Well, I guess I'm game if you guys are.
No, you idiot. A promo.
Oh, promo. I knew that. I was just cracking wise.
Okay, can we do this now? Wait, looks like I lost my notes. What are we gonna do?
Of course, okay. Look, I'll handle this. All right, everybody. I'm Christian. You may know me from TJF13. This guy over here, that's Dave Z. You may know him from Banana Laser, The Skeleton Crew, the ABCs of Hidden Horror. And this guy over here, that's Brandon.
That's Brandon? That's it? That sucks, man.
Yeah, what the hell's with that? There's nothing else you can say?
No, not really.
Well, he's quick with a joke.
Or a light of your smoke?
But there's someplace that I'd rather be.
Who cares about us? Let's say something about the cast.
Okay, cool. We're the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast. We review, dissect, critique, and make fun of horror movies, new and old.
Sounds a little bit cliche, but I guess it's okay.
Dave, why don't you tell them a little bit about some of our big shows, like the 40 Years of Horror, our top 50 slashers, even our classic format of pairing a new and an old movie together.
Yeah, and how I have to edit like 3-4 hour shows twice a month just because we watch and review so damn much?
Yeah, and how we do feature-length reviews, shorter length, round-robin reviews, top 20 topics, and a lot of fun interaction with listeners.
That about covers it.
All right, sounds good, guys.
I knew we could do it.
Tell the fine folks out there where to find us, Dave.
Oh yeah, Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast can be found on Horrorphilia.com, the Horrorphilia Network, LegionPodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and anywhere that fine podcasts are heard.
All right, that's a wrap. Now, guys, tell me, what's the deal with this porno?
Are you the caboose or the engine? Them's the jokes, folks.
This next segment features a short film review here on The Shortest Straw.
Okay, so for this shortest straw, I have the short film From the Sky, written and directed by Ian Ebright. This 18-minute short was produced by director Ian Ebright and producer Jess Grant back in 2014 for $30,000 and is about an Arab father and son. They are goat herders living a hard nomadic life in a harsh climate, caught in the middle of a political holy war between the forces of fear, hate, and terror. The son is young and resentful of the ubiquitous American presence. He wants to do something to take a stand against the empirical oppression of the West, who routinely bomb schools, hospitals, and churches mercilessly. His father warns him of the dangers of resentment and rage and how easily they become hatred and vengeance, a cycle of violence and death that is never ending. This theme is presented brilliantly in the father's ring, a family heirloom he refuses to sell even if the money gained could lead to an easier, more excessive life. Soon the father and son are visited by two other Arab men, military-aged males. They share some tea and philosophy. It is obvious that these men are terrorists. At first, the son is taken by them at their show of passion and strength. They try to recruit the father and son, but the father refuses, respectfully but adamantly. He wishes no part of the murder in perpetuity. The terrorists leave, and the son tells the father that maybe they should consider choosing a side. The father tells him that a circle has no sides. Then sends the son to fetch some water or some shit, and while the son is away, a drone rains down a predator missile, killing the father and probably most of the goats. The son goes to the father, but all that's left is the father's ring. Then the terrorists return. They try to recruit the son again, talking mad shit about America and blah blah blah, we're all infidels and evil and shit. And at first, the words of hatred and vengeance seep into the son, but he looks at the father's ring and what it represents, and he puts the ring on, and with it, the ideals of his father. He tells the terrorists that his father is dead because of them. The Americans were probably trying to blow them up, but because America sort of sucks at bombing shit, they missed and killed an innocent goat farmer. But rather than be consumed, he will live on like his father wanted, and they can basically go inside of the hell. Boom. This film got into some pretty good film festivals, and it's used as a teaching example at some universities of simple symbolism and how to craft and punctuate themes with them, and how straightforward storytelling can be profoundly impactful and emotional in a small amount of time. For me, this 18 minutes had a much more powerful effect on me than the 3 hours I spent watching Zero Dark 30, or as I like to call it, all the scenes they leave out of good action movies because nobody gives a fuck about a girl going around looking at computer screens and maps for 3 hours, when we'd much rather be watching bearded motherfuckers get murked by tier 1 operators. The movie. The only thing that could have made From the Sky better is Jessica Chastain. Jessica Chastain makes everything better. From the Sky is available on Vimeo and YouTube and other streaming sites, as well as the other works by director Ian Bright. Check it out. You'll watch CC. Okay, so be sure to come on down to nekkomedia.com and check out the indie horror film reviews by Meredith Brown. There's at least 2 a week, and a lot of them are from movies that have not even released yet and are exclusive to the site. They're awesome and informative, and it's introductory to a lot of unknown and just making the radar filmmakers. So please check it out.
Nekkomedia.com.
Alright, this upcoming segment is the wild card segment in which anything goes. Schrody's Ladder.
Alright, welcome to this Schrody's Ladder, the wild card segment. Today, we are going to update you on our 2018 New Year's resolutions.
Yo, checking back in.
Yeah, if you check out our previous episode, episode 6, the Dead But Rising episode, I told you our
That we
plans
won't
for the
stop.
year.
I told you that we won't stop.
We won't stop. But how are you on your resolutions of the writing?
I think I named 3. So the writing's going good. I am still kind of revising another draft on the feature length, and I am pretty much finished with a short script that is pretty good. So that I've been keeping pace with. The quitting smoking or even cutting back, not so good. The watching what I eat and upping my physical activity, not great either. So 2 big time fails, 1 achieve.
You still work on them, I think, yeah, for sure.
33%. Yeah. How about you?
The running and the I think I clocked in at 180 last time.
Weight?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now
Really?
I'm 178 this morning.
Really?
Yeah, just
you hold that weight pretty well. How tall are you? Like 5'8", 5'9"?
No, I say technically, I always say 5'6", but I'm actually 5'5" and 3/4.
Oh.
But I round up.
Well, you hold 178, 180 pretty well. Like,
Yeah.
So you must got that big bone. That's why you
Wait.
can play center.
But the running, I had to kind of take a rest because my feet was just hurting.
Bone spurs.
Probably like
Fuck.
those. I'm like, oh my god.
I got something like that, but I don't know.
It's like, but I want to get like a.
You got the corns.
No. It's just the bottom of my feet is just so sore.
Oh,
Like, I can't take it. Like I got a foot massage last year.
Oh yeah, did it?
That thing
alleviate?
is. That's like my favorite thing now.
Really, foot
But-
massage.
Yeah, like that's the best thing. Like it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Like
Where you're like purring.
I was like, oh my god.
It's right there. That's my spot.
It's kind of like when you clean your ears after you shower.
Oh,
Yeah, it's that kind of feeling.
I do like that feeling.
Woo! I love it. But and the EP or the album, still working on it. The ideas are still in my head. I just gotta translate them now.
Have you been laying anything down as like a roadmap, just kind of recording bits and pieces here and there, or are you keeping it all in the brain?
In the brain right now.
Okay.
I know. I exactly know how it sounds like, but having to lay it down
Oh,
soon.
cool. And this is for our Untitled rock band.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's gonna be.
Hey, maybe you guys can tweet us with ideas for our main rock band name.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking of calling it Abnormal.
Like the album or like our band
The
name?
band name.
Abnormal?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
maybe what you're envisioning, I'm not seeing. 'Cause
No,
I'm hearing
I wanted just one word.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's it. It can't be like
Like
some-
not the 15
and
words.
it's spelled
Like
how-
correctly.
yeah, not like take out the-
Backwards fucking.
take out all the
N.
vowels and like. Because I think there's this one band. I think they're called Always, but instead of a W, they spell it with 2 V's.
Oh, like Vivitch. It's like talking goat. But we're
Like Vivitch, yeah.
music.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
That is a terrible name, but maybe the music is dope. Like I feel like the doper your music is, the shittier your name can be.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. Our music's gonna be pretty sick if her name is like Abnormal. I mean, Abnormal's not terrible, I guess, but it doesn't like I don't know like.
And I think it's going to represent the progressiveness. And I slapped the word progressive because it's not like everything else.
Oh.
I don't want to say avant-garde either because that's like
Oh, then that's just
you have
rubbish.
to earn that. You have to earn that.
Really?
title.
You like? I just call it avant-garde just fucking noise rubbish.
Yeah.
Jazz without any kind of structure or training.
Oh my goodness.
It's like fucking clanging pots together. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, avant-garde.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's
Abnormal. Okay.
so. Maybe we'll cue you in. Season 3 to let another update on our resolutions
Sounds good. I mean,
to see where.
well,
it's at.
yeah, we definitely should if we have some sort of a final product or a product to deliver to them. Like if
Yeah.
you ever record down your ideas or we flesh out a song with Abnormal, whatever the
Yeah.
fucking band turns out to be,
Oh, and we should,
we should
do
put it on. Yeah.
a read through of one of your scripts.
Oh, that was actually fun what we did with yours. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Cool.
There's not too much dialogue in them, but yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Or we can just write one that's meant for a read through. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that. Actually, yeah, that sounds good. We can do it like fucking Glengarry Glen Ross, all dialogue driven, all awesome. Not that I got that kind of skill, but in that vein, a dialogue driven story. Okay. Yeah, be on the lookout for that for season 3. We will touch back in to let you know how we're done on season 2's resolutions, where we're at with that, and check in with another read-through on a dialogue-driven story / script that we are going to develop for that in season 3.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. Peace.
Take it, P.
All right, time for intermission. And just so you don't forget who you're listening to, let me remind you with this. We are Alright, this is the final segment of the show. It features the top 6 of whatever category Mox and Ono choose. Here, Seno 6.
The box. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
All right, welcome to this Seno 6, the segment where we feature a top 6 list.
On random subjects.
Random subjects. Today's category is top ensemble films.
Not counting superhero franchises.
Yes. So ensemble films usually feature it's a fairly large cast.
Generally
maybe-
with name players.
Yeah, a group.
Yep.
Maybe 5 or more. I would call it.
I would say so, yeah.
So before we get started, if you hear this, our picks are different.
And if you hear this, it means our picks were the same. Top 6 ensemble films, go!
All right, so at the top of
Or
my
bottom.
list, or the bottom, yes, the bottom.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I have 1990s Navy SEALs.
Ah,
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of ensemble.
Yeah.
Dennis Haysbert, Michael Biehn,
fucking
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn, fucking Charlie Sheen, Michael
Yeah.
Biehn, Charlie Sheen. That's 3.
Rick Rossovich. He was it Snyder or Slider from Top Gun?
Okay. Was he also in Roseanne?
I don't remember.
Not Roseanne.
Oh, he looks like
Roxanne.
him.
Roxanne, I mean.
Oh, maybe
The big nose one.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
a stupid, handsome firefighter. Anyway.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bill Paxton's in Navy SEALs too.
Really?
Yeah.
As one of the SEALs?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he had like a mustache, so he didn't look like.
He's
he looked
True
more-
Lies
yeah,
Bill Paxton.
True Lies Bill Paxton, exactly.
Those idiots.
Yeah. And Dennis Haysbert. Yeah. Pedro.
Are you in good hands?
Yes. He wasn't because he was the first to go of the group.
He was
which
the
is
top, yep.
Which is because then he left the mission in the middle of his right before he got married.
Right.
And so, and then at his funeral, the wife was like, "If we were married, I would have gotten a flag."
Oh, that's
And
right.
she didn't get a flag. It went to his parents,
That's right.
which is unfortunate. But I really like this one because the chemistry between the soldiers, or the SEALs, it was definitely one of those action cinema flicks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Michael Biehn following up Aliens and Terminator.
That's true.
Right.
Solidifying his star.
And he was a SEAL again in The Rock.
That's true. And I think the casting of him worked well because you didn't think those motherfuckers was going to get killed right then. Murked in the shower.
Oh, yeah. And that's
like the whole, like you see Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
You think, okay, we following this guy, not the fucking executive decision.
Yes.
We're not going to make it, Chief. You are.
Yeah. Oh, man. And it's probably one of my favorite Charlie Sheen flicks.
That was back when Charlie Sheen was dope.
Yeah.
And that, to me, the storyline of that, without getting into the terrorists and stuff, but the character storyline is that real popular one from the 80s. The hotshot young gun has to learn to play as a team and not be a maverick.
Right. Yeah, he is like a hot shot. And he was in Hot Shots.
Hot Shots.
But, I mean, as a SEAL, it's that adrenaline
It's a team.
rush.
Well, yeah.
Like,
but yeah. They're like team focused, team centered.
Right. And you
There's
see,
no place for individuals.
even when they're not working together, they're always hanging out.
They're hanging out, yeah.
They got really good camaraderie amongst themselves.
And that was like cinema's first introduction to the Navy SEALs, right?
Probably, yeah. Like the just SEALs as an integral part of an action flick, you mean? Or just like...
Well, just like at center stage, like I think maybe there were some action movies that maybe they had SEAL characters or they referred to SEALs, but I feel like that was the first movie about Navy SEALs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Then after that, every fucking movie, Navy SEAls.
Yes. And the director is Louis Teague. He also did Wedlock. We might know it as Deadlock.
Was Wedlock really the title?
Yeah.
Because I know it as Deadlock,
Right,
which was dope.
Yeah.
As far as B movies go, that was dope.
He also did Cat's Eye and Cujo.
And Cujo?
Yeah. Well, he's 80 now.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, so he directed those kind of at the latter point of his life, in the 50-year mark.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, there's hope yet.
Yeah.
All right. So for my number 6, I have the film adaptation of David Mamet's Pulitzer Prize-winning play, Glengarry Glen Ross. You never seen that movie?
No.
It's quoted as one of the 100 films you must see before you die.
Really?
Yeah. It's just really badass. It's about a bunch of salesmen, real estate salesmen, doing the grind and trying to make that sales and shit. Always be closing. You heard of that? The ABCs of selling. Always be closing. That comes from this movie.
Oh.
And it's a dope-ass movie. Got Al Pacino, Ed Harris, fucking Alan Arkin, fucking the grumpier old man guy.
Yeah.
Fucking, who's the molester guy? Kevin Spacey. Fucking,
Damn.
some other dope guys too, but it's just, fucking Alec Baldwin.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It's just chock full of fucking A-list talent and Oscar winners and Oscar nominees.
That's 92. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Oh, okay, nice. I'll have to check that out. It looks cool. Cool
Yeah.
cast.
It's fucking awesome.
All right, number 5. I got 1984, Red Dawn.
Oh, okay. Nice one, nice one.
Another Charlie Sheen flick.
That was his decade, though, really.
In the 80s and the
Men
early
at
90s.
Work, Young Guns.
Yeah. And he was ripped in Hot Shots Part 2. Like, ripped. And like,
Doing that
okay.
Rambo 2 kind of shit.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, just, muscles.
But this one was really dope. I really loved the entire cast. You got Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson,
That's
Jennifer
right.
Grey.
Jennifer Grey, that's right.
Powers Booth.
Oh, I totally forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he was the pilot. And I read that there's a bit of trivia that I don't know if it was an actual sex scene that wasn't, or maybe was filmed, or like a love scene between Powers Booth and Leah Thompson. Yeah.
Wouldn't he still have been older than her back then? No?
Yeah, like his character is much older, and so, and there's a lot of things, like there's that scene where Charlie Sheen like wants her to go like wash dishes, and she kind of snaps at him, and he goes, "What's up your ass?" And then she gets really pissed, and I think there's some backstory that her character was actually raped by the the Cubans. But I don't know if that was mentioned in the film, but I think that was a bit of trivia. That was her backstory and her character.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't think.
Totally forget. I mean, I forget that scene even.
Yeah. It's really dark. It's a really dark movie.
It is. It's much darker.
Like, it pretty much opens on the invasion, and like you see students getting wiped out.
Just murked. Yeah, like, I mean, that was R as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, the 80s, they didn't hold back on shit.
No.
Like, they kill kids fucking carte blanche.
And they said that well, the director saw like at the end when they show the rock with all the names, like there's supposed to be some kind of like dark irony to that, because like their sacrifice was so great, yet their names are written on a small piece of rock. Like in comparison to what they did, it's like, it was much bigger than that, but no, all they got was just this thing,
A pebble.
Yeah. But we know
Wolverines.
and you hear Wolverines in the new one, it's like, yeah, I don't care.
Plus, they let that kid from the Hunger Games say it. That just like ruined the fucking gravitas and bad acidness of Wolverine's fucking cry. But I actually, despite all the hate on the new one, the remake, I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Not on the first few, but when it came to Netflix and I just saw it for free, I was like, fuck, this ain't that bad. And I like that they kill Thor out of nowhere. So for my number 5, I have the Michael Mann bank crime robbery film Heat from 1995, starring basically the Godfather cast and a little bit Top Gun and Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Have you seen Heat? I mean, obviously.
The first time I saw it, I hated it.
Really?
Like,
Because it was
so
just
boring.
long?
Like, it was just boring. And I was let's see, when did this come out? 95?
It would have been like, what, 11, 12?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not meant for that age group.
I didn't get it. And, like, I was so bored that I left.
Oh, yeah?
During the
You saw it
movie.
in the theater?
Yeah, and to go play games.
Arcade.
Because I was like,
in the video games
it
in
was
the lobby.
so shitty. Like, I think this might have been at the
Waikiki?
Varsity Theaters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably the kind of movie that would have played Varsity. That's our old art house theater.
But I bought it, actually. I think it was like $5 on Amazon, digital on Prime. So, I still have yet to watch it.
Oh, so you've not watched it since your childhood viewing, your
Yeah.
initial viewing. Oh,
So, I mean, everyone I've heard who's
always
mentioned this
sings
movie.
its praises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, shit.
They have a really weird scene in there too, where the cop and the robber share a coffee at a diner and kind of confront each other, but they do it civilly.
Danny Trejo is in that movie, right?
Yes, he is.
Because I remember the scene where he calls like Pacino.
Oh, and he tells him like, "Oh man,
Call
I'm
me back.
burnt. I can't." Yeah. Call me back from the.
Like
from
you
a
can do
burner or
that?
whatever.
Okay, that's what I only. Oh.
Dennis Haysbert in that too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And Natalie Portman too, right?
Young Natalie Portman.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'll have to check that one out as well.
Damn, son, no wonder your list is kind of weak. You ain't seen the good fucking ensemble movies.
I know. 'Cause number 4, I have Magnificent Seven, 2016. And I watched it again. I own it, and it's still an exciting movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not boring. It's Antoine Fuqua.
Fuqua?
You got the Training Day guys.
Fuqua?
Chris Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent D'Onofrio, Byung-hun Lee, Manuel Garcia Rulfo, and Martin Sensmeyer as the Red Harvest character. Protagonist is Peter Sarsgaard. As a film though, like I don't know if it has enough traction for it to continue like the original Magnificent Seven and have kind of garner sequels.
Oh, yeah. I've actually never bothered with any of the original sequels.
So it works as a action flick, one shot.
Yeah.
That you can with a really great cast, yeah.
Really great ensemble cast, yeah.
Denzel leading the way.
Big time. Black Cowboy. Okay, so for my number 4, I have the Oscar darling 2006 Little Miss Sunshine, starring Steve Carell, Toni Collette, Greg Kinnear, Abigail Breslin, Paul Dano, Alan Arkin, and a bunch of other awesome B-side players.
Yeah, with that flick, I didn't see until I think I rented it, and because everyone was raving about it.
Yeah.
And so when I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's pretty funny. Yeah. Like, okay. I mean,
my initial reaction to it was lukewarm. I think I had expectations that were built up by all of its praise. But it's a movie that has grown on me. I've grown to love it.
Right. And
it's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, and then someone pointed out, Paul Dano's first word in the movie is fuck.
Fuck.
And where's Olive? And again with the goddamn chicken. Alan Arkin. He won the Oscar for that, right?
He did.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty good. That came out the same time as Juno, right? The same year.
Oh
or the
yeah,
second?
I think so.
I'm sorry, it was different year.
Juno's what, 07? 08?
Yeah, 07.
Oh, the following.
Yeah.
Fuck Juno.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, this one, it was actually like Toni Collette. Collette, sorry.
Oh, I just call it Colette. Toni Collette, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the first movie I've seen her in.
What about Sixth Sense?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Muriel's Wedding.
I know, right? Oh, and About a Boy. I guess she didn't make an impact on me. It was Haley
Really?
Osment and
Because she got an Oscar nod for that one as the mom.
Her other work. I was referring to her other work, and in Little Miss Sunshine, it was good. Oh yeah, she got the Oscar for Sixth Sense too, right?
Yeah, I mean she got the nod. I don't think she won the thing, but she's dope, and she's kind of chameleon-ish, like Gary Oldman. Like I can see how you missed it. No accent, no blonde hair, no weirdness. Like she's known for playing, extroverted, quirky ass characters.
Okay. Oh my
But
bad.
yeah, that is my number 4.
All right, my number 3, The Sandlot.
Okay.
And
I mean, yeah.
It was one of those.
I mean, tell me, E.T. doesn't make this list.
Yeah. It was one of those childhood flicks. Baseball, of course.
It's definitely a movie that sticks with you. Like I
Yeah.
still have fond memories. I mean, I must have seen it the billion times in childhood alone, in the 90s alone.
Yeah. So, our friends tried to start playing baseball because.
Oh yeah, because of I actually tried to play baseball because of Major League in the 80s, and that had the same effect. It was short-lived. Like if you weren't into baseball, you didn't stick with it because of the movie.
That's another good ensemble flick.
Oh, that's right.
I want to replace one now with that movie.
Well, it's gonna make it pretty high because you've only got
I know, right?
2 and 3 to go.
Oh, okay, I might have to do that. But yeah, the Sandlot.
Sandlot dope.
I had no idea.
Forever.
Well, you
Wendy
know the
Peppercorn.
legend of
The dog.
the Babe Ruth.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You know, that's where I learned about
I
Babe
pointed
Ruth.
to the outfield.
Yeah, and Wendy Peppercorn, and the dog. Yeah, the Beast, right?
The Beast.
And Paya Flyers. Those are actual shoes.
Huh?
You know the one Benny the Jet Rodriguez. He put a new pair on when he went to face off with the Beast.
I totally forgot about that part.
Yeah. Those shoes. Yeah. But yeah, it was totally the antagonist becomes the Beast, right?
Hmm.
Oh, and we learned about s'mores. Yeah, that's where I learned.
Oh yeah. How can I have some more? Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, my number 3 is the Oscar-winning American adaptation of the Chinese film Infernal Affairs, 2006, Departed.
Okay.
Tell me you've seen this one.
I've seen it, yeah. And that movie is like I pretty much saw the whole movie through clips online.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same with Ant-Man. Like I saw that whole movie like through clips. But it was just it's one of it's a Scorsese flick, and it's so ultra violent.
It is.
And like disturbing violent. Like when they threw Martin Sheen off the
the
building.
yeah.
Like he just totally
falls right into the X.
Oh my god. And that the scene where Jack Nicholson is in the porn theater.
Oh yeah.
Like he totally was he jerking it?
I believe so, yeah.
Like he was supposed to be, right?
Yeah. He shows the kind of his dick too.
Yeah. They said that I think that was a dildo actually. Or prosthetic, kind of like when Jonah Hill was jerking it in
right.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Prosthetic. All right. Okay. But yeah, Departed is really dark.
And it actually was a better film than the source material. Like, that rarely happens. But they stuck with some of the twisty plot points of the original. And I think for an American film to do that, that's pretty ballsy.
Oh, it's good. I still have to see the original.
It's full-blown action film and kind of soap opera. It's not nearly as good drama as The Departed.
Okay. All right, number 2. So I had to bump this for. I bumped off Dirty Dozen and put The Big Chill.
You know that I wanted a place for it on my list too, but with only 6 films and 3 honorable mentions, it couldn't make the cut.
Dirty Dozen
and The Big Chill.
Oh, The Big Chill. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like I've seen it only once, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's great.
Like what that and I loved it.
The soundtrack alone.
The chemistry between everyone, and you realize that was just a really big thing about the movie. You read up on it and you realize, or the actors did spend a lot of time off camera, like just together, just to get that on screen chemistry. It's like, okay, so they worked at it, and it definitely showed.
Oh yeah, it plays well. It plays like they're fucking longtime friends.
Right, and it's weird because in the Big Chill, that is that came out in 83.
Oh really?
So
I guess the 70s.
This was like they went to college together in what, maybe the 60s?
Probably, yeah.
And so
Flower Kids and all that.
Like they lost contact with each other like right after college, or you know, they had a phone number and like
right.
So they get back together because of their friend's funeral, and they kind of just hit it off again. Whereas like today, you don't. Like in social media, you always be in contact with everyone, so you won't lose it.
That big, yeah.
So it's like, if you were to run into them, it's like, oh, I see you online all the time. There's no real like, I know everything that's going on in your life.
True,
like,
true.
There's no need for catching up, really.
My number 2, fucking Pulp Fiction.
Oh, nice! Wow. Would it count if, like?
Cause yeah, like Pulp Fiction, it's so non-linear,
Mhm.
and like the cast, like rarely, if anything, interact with
Has
each other.
big scenes with each other. Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of crazy. But like yeah, like with such an all-star cast, and
Yeah.
um,
Actually, all of his films are ensembles.
because it's like Bruce Willis never comes into contact with Sam Jackson, right? And when he comes into contact with John Travolta, it's for like
Just
you
that
know,
murder second. Yeah.
yeah, and like, and no dialogue is exchanged. Do you think they actually filmed together? Like, are they on screen together, or is it just, you know,
They have one more scene where they're
There's-
dialoguing.
Yeah.
That's in the bar.
Oh, right,
He comes
right.
up, he's like, "Give me a pack of red apples." Like, what the fuck you looking at, Palooka?
Yeah. All right. What'd you say, friend? I'm
Yeah.
not your friend. Is that
Yeah. Not your friend, Palooka.
Okay. And it's funny because they were in Look Who's. Well, they weren't together in Look Who's Talking. Right.
Right. They were the voices.
Yeah. Oh,
That
they
was
were
when
friends.
that was when their careers were kind of iffy, but Pulp Fiction revived.
Revived John Travolta's.
Well, I feel like Bruce Willis too. He was
You
doing
think
some
so?
bullshit one because after that, Vengeance hit,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and they pulled Vengeance off the shelf. Remember, it was a failed Lethal Weapon one that they shelved it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Nice. Now for honorable mentions.
Honorable mention.
Before we get to the number ones, honorable mention number one, or I'll just list them off. I have Ocean's
ceremony.
11.
That
The
one almost
first
made
one.
my list too.
Yeah. I have
Not the remake. I mean the remake, not the original.
Oh yeah,
Not the Rat
um,
Pack one.
Steven Soderbergh. Yeah, Ocean's 11. Yeah. The Intervention. This generation's The Big
Really?
Chill.
Oh man, you give it up with that. I know we gave it a go watch, but fuck, give it up. That movie was
Play Duvall.
all right.
Stokely.
He's just still in love with Stokely from The Faculty. Dude, that was 20 years ago. About
Yeah. Wow.
Let It Rest. Still one of the dopest teen movies, sci-fi alien creature movies to date.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
And it just sneaks up on you too. Like
Jordana Brewster. Brewster.
Jordan Brewster. Yep.
And my third honorable mention,
Oh,
School
that's
of
kind
Rock.
of an ensemble too. The Faculty.
It is. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Huh.
Like every movie that has more than 3 characters is ensemble already. Anyway, so what's the third one?
School of Rock.
Really?
Yeah.
You would count that as an ensemble?
Yeah. I mean, it's like Mighty Ducks with music students.
I guess so. I feel like they would need to be more name
Yeah.
than because the only name was Cusack and
Oh, I see. Has to have a big name.
well,
Okay, I
or
see,
at
I see.
least names. Like I don't even know none of those child actors' names.
I see. Oh, interesting.
But I mean, go ahead, list it. Just when I was putting mine together, I was
Yeah.
thinking like a group of actors that are at least somewhat B-level known.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My 3 honorable mentions are The Help. I think that's from 2011. I'm almost ashamed because I really hate that writer, Lee Butler, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I feel like he's the way more talented Tyler Perry. Like everything is like, oh, the black struggle, which, yeah, that's fine. You know, the black did struggle and they need some good storytellers to put it out there. But I just feel like, ugh, don't slap your name on everything. But dope movie. Dope ensemble from the whites and the blacks.
Oh, okay.
And Magnolia.
Damn.
Or if it was Lee Butler, it would be Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia.
Okay.
And finally, what's his name? Bryan Singer's The Usual Suspects.
Oh, wow. Okay. I still have to see that one, too.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, man. Christopher McQuarrie, who wrote the script, won the Oscar.
Nice, nice.
Then he went on to write and direct The Way of the Gun, which, I don't know. I'm still not feeling
Give me
it.
the keys. You motherfucker. Give me the keys, you motherfucker.
Cocksucker. Like,
Nice.
what the fuck? Yeah.
All right, number ones.
Numero uno.
I just made the change right now. Yeah, Major League.
Wow, it climbed all the way up
Yeah.
there.
I got it. That one is
it's timeless. It's a really great, fun
Maze
movie.
Hayes.
Yeah, and towards the end they learn to how to like work with each other.
Actually, that is a good one. It's a good sports movie, a good ensemble, comedy ensemble.
Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger is actually really good.
Charlie Sheen as
That's right, Charlie Sheen.
Wild Thing. Yeah. What was it? Vox? That's his name? Vaughn. Fox. Ricky Vaughn. And Willie Mays Hayes. Pedro.
Corbin Burson is in that. Oh yeah, Dennis Haysbert.
Yeah.
Damn. We brought Dennis Haysbert up fucking couple times today.
Yeah.
And twice with
Charlie Sheen. And Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger worked together in Platoon.
That's right.
I wonder how that was.
That almost made my list too, Platoon, because that had like the 30 motherfuckers.
Right.
My number one is Ridley Scott's 2001 epic. Oh, a lot of war movies we talked about today. Black Hawk Down.
Good movie.
I go to sleep watching that movie. It's
Really?
just so fucking awesome.
You ever tried sitting and counting all the cuts
In that movie or just a movie?
in Black Hawk Down?
No.
Because they won for best editing, right?
Oh.
And if you think about like when they're just trying to leave the city, like just in the Humvee alone, you got like just 100 different cuts of them of just that one truck, like the Hummer. Like you have the driver, and you get all the different parts of like. It's
Getting
crazy.
busy editors.
Like it's crazy for just that one. Well, there's no particular sequence, but like it's just a lot. Like especially when they're trying to escape, and you got like just really great, huge cast.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Lots of action going on too. I mean, basically once it starts, it's like a 2-hour action sequence with a little lull that doesn't last very long, just enough for someone to die and you to feel real bad.
Yeah. And was that like the military's first, not for like suburban combat? Like they just weren't well trained in that kind of scenario. Is that why it kind of?
It went bad just because the planning.
Yeah.
The planning was bad. Generally when they have that kind of joint special op, they let the operators who are executing do the planning, but this one was planned by people who had nothing to do with boots on the ground. They were just making decisions from fucking chairs. They're quarterbacking from Washington, so they fucked things up, and all of the soldiers had to just deal with it.
Right, and they had to run back to base at one point, right?
Right, like 10 miles or whatever. Fucking run alongside the bulletproof Pakistani Humvee.
All right, well, that is our top 6 ensemble flicks.
Yep.
Go check that out, and then go check out a superhero movie.
Yes.
Peace.
Every superhero movie is ensemble.
Yeah.
This has been a Nekko Media podcast broadcasting from the Blood Cave, part of the /tag Potter family. For myself, Annika Pussyfoot, Mox, and Ono, keep the lights on and check under that bed, because there's only one universal truth. No lives matter. That means you.
We have candy.